Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Spot on Spotlight podcast. Today we are here with our guest, Dave Ebbesmeyer with AI Software. Dave, thank you so much for taking the time out to join us this morning.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Excited about the content we're going to go through today. So, to get started, tell me a little bit about AI Software and what you guys do.
Let me give you the highlights because I tend to be long-winded. So we started back in 2003 when a buddy of mine that I've known since seventh grade and I decided we didn't want to wear suits to work anymore. So since then, we've acquired over 400 clients and we manage over 500 websites. Without getting into how great we are, we did kind of flip the script on how this business works a few years ago, and we look at the launch of a website as the beginning of a relationship versus the end of it, and we focus on managing the web presence properly. We still build websites and do a ton of them, but we really like to help our clients who are normally small and mid-sized businesses manage that entire web presence, which is mainly the website, Google Business Profile, and then some social media depending on what they're doing.
Very nice. So, tell me, why do companies need a great website in today's day and age?
That's actually a good question. I think a lot of people are just like, we need a website, but they never ask why. So there's three C's that we talk about, which is credibility, conversions, and commerce. So credibility is the big one. I hear a lot, we work with a lot of businesses that are legacy businesses, have been around for, 100 years, sometimes more. And they say, well, we've never really needed this. We never really needed a website. We never really did business on a website. Well, that's great, but it's 2024. And the buyers grew up with phones. I didn't, but the people who are making buying decisions are in their 30s now or even younger. Well, they grew up with this. So if they see no website or a poor website, that's a credibility hit. You never know what you're losing. Conversions, for anyone that doesn't know what a conversion is, that is what sometimes could be called a buying signal. So that is somebody sending a contact form in, making a phone call, filling out, buying a product, or I'm sorry, commerce is the third. Commerce is buying a product. So credibility, you got to have something out there. You just don't look like you're in business these days.
Yeah.
A conversion is getting someone's attention so that you can then engage in selling a product or service. And then commerce is obviously online commerce, which is more and more popular these days. We do a ton of commerce.
So those are all really important things for businesses. When you're looking at then how to make sure you're getting found, I've heard you say that kind of SEO is dead. Tell me what led you to that conclusion and kind of how the evolution of search engine optimization is playing out today.
Yeah, so I believe the term that I've used frequently is SEO isn't a thing anymore. It's still very much alive and it's being sold and it's actually hurting companies in many cases. And here's why. When we started doing this back in 2003, it was very easy to get a website ranked. We did what was called keyword stuffing. For anybody that's old like me, you'd see those websites that were super long and at the bottom of the page would just be blank. If you highlighted that, that was keywords that were done in this text color that matches the background. That's keyword stuffing. Once the search engines found out what was going on, they slapped our hand and said, you can't do that anymore. That's what's called black hat. Back then, the search engines were Alta Vista, Ask Jeeves, Lycos. No one probably watching this knows what those are, except for old dudes
I
like
remember
me. But
Dogpile too was one.
yeah, right. So now it's really just Google that we care about. I know there's other ones out there, but for all intents and purposes, everything I'm going to talk about today is Google. So you had keyword stuffing, and then they said, no, don't do that. So then we found out we could do other tactics like, the alt tags, the metadata. That's all still kind of used, but not as important as it used to be. That was big back then. And then, like I said, that's still around. But then we started doing microsites. There was a plastic surgery company in town we worked with back in like '05. We bought domains like CincinnatiPlasticSurgery.com. We set up what now might be called landing pages, CincinnatiBotox.com, those kind of things. We would have them ranked. I think at one point they were 8 out of the 10 organic listings. And then, Google comes along and says, that's not okay. You're cheating. So then we found another tactic. Blogging was big for a while. Content still works, but the algorithms are smart enough to figure out if it's garbage. Most of the companies that sell blogging, especially the ones overseas, are selling the same content to the same companies. If Google finds that out, they're all gone. So it's hurting. Backlinks is one you'll hear about now. Backlinks work if they're done with authority, meaning if the New York Times or USA Today or ESPN or even Cincinnati.com sites that have a ton of traffic, if they do an article, that's a good, credible backlink with authority. But
Makes
what's
sense.
happening is people are using programming farms overseas to just backlink to everything, and Google's saying no. So this is a long-winded way of getting to the short answer. If you cheat, which is what traditional SEO is cheating and goofing. We call it goofing the search engines or goofing the algorithms. You will be delisted. Now,
Okay.
no one's been able to give me an explanation on why they continue to do that, other than the fact that they have people paying sometimes thousands of dollars a month for it. It is a tactic that it no longer works. In fact, it has the opposite effect. This is an unpopular opinion because there are companies still selling that, but we figured that we would come out and we would affirm the industry by giving them the truth. It just doesn't work anymore. Now, I'm not saying you can't market a website online. SEM, search engine marketing, is very real these days. But search engine optimization, as we've seen it over the last 15 or 20 years, is no longer a thing. And I would challenge anyone who disagrees with that to show me what you're doing and show me I'm wrong, and I will gladly admit it. A few years ago, when we took the approach with our company to look strictly at managing a web presence and bringing in marketing partners, which we have a ton of, and they're great, to help market it, we went out we have 4 offices. We went and found everybody in 3 or 4 in each region and said, I want to put you in front of, back then, 200 clients. But I need to know what you're doing, and I'll sign an NDA, but I can't refer you. How many do you think gave me a plan about what they do? There would be, let's say there was 4 in every market, 16. How many?
One.
0. Most of them didn't even respond.
Oh man.
So if somebody came to me and said, I have 200 potential clients, you've referred business to us.
Yeah.
I am on that quickly. So to me, it shows me that it's just not really a thing anymore. It's a lot of snake oil out there. And again, if somebody wants to challenge me, I'd be happy to say I'm wrong. But that's what we see. We have a solution for it. It just is not a thing anymore, period.
Okay. So I heard you say blogging can still be beneficial because you still want to put good information out there, but you just don't want to spam and repeat a lot of stuff that maybe other people have. So how does that fit into the strategy then of maintaining an appropriate update schedule, and maybe what are 3 best practices or elements that go into setting a website up properly today?
Yeah, so I'm not sure how many items are on our checklist now when we set up a website properly. A lot has to do with what the search engines want, and then some have to do with like ADA compliance, responsive mobile, and that kind of stuff. So the main thing is to build the website properly. Depending on who you talk to, there's plenty of companies that do that. We're obviously one of them. Freelancers maybe have a tougher time doing that. There's some good ones out there, but any legitimate company should probably they're probably working off a similar checklist to us. I think that one thing people miss these days is they don't focus on mobile. 58% of queries on Google are done on a mobile device. I'm surprised it's that low, honestly.
Yeah.
But a few years ago, that was in the 20s. So spending a ton of time on a cool homepage it's got to look good, obviously.
Yeah.
You're selling your brand. It's got to match branding guidelines and things like that. But this isn't 2007 where people are using Flash and you go to a website and it's cool. We used to sell Flare, function, findability, and friends. Flare's how it looks. Findability's search engine optimization, which is no longer a thing. Flare, function, findability, and friends. So function's how it works, and then friends with social media. I think function is the most important thing today. We are all used to the internet. There are people who are in professional positions who grew up with the internet. I did not. I didn't use it until my senior year in college, which is crazy to think this is where I made my career. It's function. Think about when you go to the internet for something. You want to find something to buy. You want to find directions. That's where the focus should be. And then another thing that I think is super important, and we've built this into our new model a couple years ago, and it's been great, is we got to remind our clients to keep updates going to their website. Most of our clients are small and mid-sized businesses. So we established a check-in program, created a client services manager position where this person is assigned accounts and he or she reaches out a minimum of twice a year. We don't like 2 times a year. We like quarterly at a minimum. And if it's a more active company, we might do monthly. So we are reaching out, we're reviewing things, it's all included in a flat monthly fee, and then we're encouraging them to do things. So when you ask about blogging, yeah, it works. Content's good, but we don't want to just push a blog out once a month. We want to deploy natural content. because the algorithms are smart enough to know that now. So by checking in with our clients, we're asking them, have you added anybody? Do you have a case study? Is there anything you want to change? How about just the pictures? Because every time you're changing stuff, you signal Google that it's an active web presence. So we really are probably talk to one of our clients, right? We were annoying about it, but we want to be prescriptive and we want to be doing the right thing for our clients, not the easy thing. The easy thing is to just set it out there and let it go and call them in a couple of years when it's time to reskin. That doesn't affirm anybody, and there's no benefit. I mean, there's a benefit, but the real benefit is keeping that website up to date. If you got a conference room in your office, you don't sit there and let it go uncleaned for 6 months before you go in and wipe it down. Yeah. You don't let the garbage overflow. It's the same concept.
And I will say, being in a small business, it can be very hard to be like 6 months go by and you're like, oh my gosh, I haven't looked at my website. My clients are on there. I actually had a prospect reach out to me the other day. They're like, so your videos page, the videos aren't loading. I was like, dang it, and a plugin had changed on the website. And you guys were great. You got it fixed within I think 2 hours. So I was like, okay, it's back up. Thanks for checking it out. But
let me say something about that. The thing I am most proud of with the people that work on my team is that. So we track every year how quickly our help desk responds. And last year, we haven't done it for 2024 yet, obviously, but for 2023, 81% of our help desk tickets were closed in 24 hours or less.
That's awesome.
And not a single one went over 7 days unresolved. I would challenge any company in the country to touch that. And that's because of my team, and they are awesome.
Yeah, good people make a huge difference.
Absolutely.
So it sounds like definitely check your website at least quarterly if you can, or find a good partner like AI Software that can help you stay on top of that and make sure everything's up to date. So you mentioned Google Business Profile earlier on. So tell me about how that plays a crucial role into kind of that search engine getting found, and why that's a massive business tool companies should be using.
Yeah, and it's a free one too.
Even better.
So let me be clear about that. And I will tell anybody what to do on there, and we'll go over it right now. So I brought a prop today, Ian.
I love it.
This is what Google Business Profile is.
Okay.
Now, most of the people on my team don't know what that is, but that's the yellow pages.
I'm impressed you actually found one. I haven't seen that in years.
My parents still use it, so I borrowed it from them.
That's awesome.
But what we say is we want to get you the back cover. So back in the day, the back cover was what people were paying $10,000 a month for. And I know it because the girl I went to high school with, her parents were the law firm that bought the back cover, and I thought it was just astronomical, which it is. So Google Business Profiles is an online directory for people who don't know. When you search the name of a company, it's that badge that comes up in the right-hand corner. It has a map, it has some images, maybe, hours, that kind of stuff. So the Google Business Profile, I think today, is as important as an effective web presence, if not more. Now, you still should hire us to build a website, but here's the deal. That is Google's directory. So anything you do on there, you're signaling Google that the company is active. These are all very simple concepts. And Google doesn't publish their algorithms, but they're very clear about this. They will, if anybody leaves this podcast, the rule of 10 is something to remember. The rule of 10 images is a ranking signal. 10 reviews is a ranking signal. So anytime, if 10 people who get driving directions from that Google, what I call a badge sometimes, the Google Business Profile, is a ranking signal. So reviews are huge. So when I said Google likes natural content, you really can't goof the reviews. They are hard to get. Mm-hmm. We always tell people, build that into your process. When let's say you're a manufacturing company, when you deliver an order, ask for a review. When we launch a website, we ask for a review. Here's one that people miss. Here's a free nugget of information that's going to keep you coming back to the Spot On Productions podcast. Ask your employees. They're going to give a good review, I would think.
Interesting.
We've got companies that have 16 reviews and 400 employees. Why don't you have 416 reviews? It's not just customers. And in this market where labor is so crazy, have your employees say how great it is to work there. Another thing about the Google Business Profile that's often missed is you can put products and services in there. This, again, is all free. When we build or take over what we call rescue a website, this isn't an appropriate term, but we trick out the Google Business Profile. We get them the back cover. Another thing that we do to signal the algorithms is we scrape our help desk every Friday, and anybody who does what's called our GAS program, Google Algorithm Signaling, get it? Because the lawnmower, we landscape your web presence, we put some
Nice.
gas in the mower. Google Algorithm Signaling. Anything updated on the website each week is pushed out to what's called Google Post. Most people don't know what Google Post is. Think of it as your Facebook wall or your LinkedIn wall on Google. No one looks at that. Humans don't look at that, but we don't care. Google looks at it. And that is a signal that you are an active company. The analogy that anyone who's sat in a sales pitch with me, and I'm sure my team members get sick of hearing, is if we're outrunning a tiger, I don't got to outrun the tiger, I got to outrun you.
Yep.
If you've seen me run, it's not too hard to outrun me, but here's the deal. Most people don't do that. So in some niche industries especially, that's all it takes to get a little bit higher. This is all simple, but it takes labor. It's landscaping. And most people would rather hire us to do it so they can focus on their business. And I think that's a smart idea. I think everyone should hire us, obviously.
Nice. So you said buckets of 10. So is that every 10 or is it just the first 10 that's the big one?
Every 10.
Okay.
But here's the trick. Now, this is unpublished. So this is my opinion because I do know how the artificial intelligence kind of works, right?
Okay.
My opinion that it's too small. So if you go in there and you dump 500 pictures, I don't think that that's effective as dripping it out over time.
Yeah, because it's going to catch on like, hey, you just dumped this.
Right. I think that they know what you're trying to do. That is not confirmed. They will not answer that, but I think that's how it works. It makes more sense. So what we will do sometimes when we have a website launch, a lot of times people are like, well, we've got all this new content. What we say is time out on the content. Remember what I said, our relationship begins when the website launches, doesn't end. So give us that content. We'll throw it in Dropbox and we'll schedule it out over the next 6-8 weeks, 6-8 months, depending on how much content it is. And then we signal Google that this website is active. That's what landscaping is. That's not just trying to get a project done and move on to the next. That's creating a long-term client relationship where we work as their web department, because my clients it doesn't make sense to have 6 or 7 people on staff doing this.
Yeah.
It makes sense to outsource it.
Nice. Okay, and obviously Google Business Profile is pointing back to your website to get that traffic back to your website to find answers to questions, fill out the forms, do that conversion activity. So that's all being driven from Google Business to a website.
Yep, and the Google Post, we typically will do, the Google Post is what I mentioned is like the Facebook wall or the LinkedIn feed type of thing. It's at the bottom. So if you typed in AI software Cincinnati, look at our Cincinnati office listing, you'll see at the bottom, we're pushing stuff out there a lot. And usually it links back to something. Okay. A lot of times it's linking back. So we're doing it on behalf of their clients. Let's say a manufacturing company adds a new product line. It's going to link back to the website. So it is actually establishing backlinks, by the way, with authority because it's on Google. So it's not a backlink that we just had someone, offshore build on a website that doesn't matter, that looks fake. So everything here, it's very easy concept. What we're doing is honest. Yeah. We're not tricking the search engines. And here's the deal. If you don't have that much content, you don't put it out there. It's honest and it works.
I love it. So staying in that Google vein, AdWords, pay to play, is it worth it? How do you balance, how should somebody balance paid AdWords versus organic?
So let me say something about AdWords. People ask me a lot, is AdWords the most effective way to get to the top of Google? And I say it's the only guaranteed way. It's the only guaranteed way. Even what we do doesn't guarantee top placement, and I'd be lying to tell anybody otherwise. So all these SEO companies, we used to do SEO, so I'm not just downing them. I'm just saying it's not a thing anymore.
It's changed. The market's changed.
We would do a lot. We could do the same thing, but if you're a personal injury attorney, you've got a lot more noisy market than somebody manufacturing spindle liners that's got 2 competitors in the country. So the only way to guarantee placement is to buy it. That's why Google's so big. Now, here's the problem with that is it's expensive sometimes. But then I challenge people to answer this question. Would and I know this is going to sound crazy coming from somebody who's been marketing websites for 21 years, is top placement valuable? Everyone thinks the answer to that is yes. And I'm here to tell you, for us, it wasn't. We were spending $6,000 a month on Google AdWords. We were all over it. And
Yeah.
that's just in 1 or 2 markets. Ours is a noisy industry, as you can
Oh
imagine.
yeah.
We weren't getting the right clients. We were getting price shoppers only, and we're Target. We're not Family Dollar, and we're not Neiman Marcus. We serve high value, lots of clients. Everybody who's got an actual business can afford us. So we were losing those, and we were gaining people who just want the cheapest price.
Yeah.
We're closer to that than the most expensive, but we are not the cheapest. So we were at the top, and that marketing wasn't working. Now, here's the good news. 15 years ago, the only way to market online was to get that top position. But now you've got remarketing, you've got Google AdWords, which was around, but it wasn't as prominent, as prolific as it was now, or is now. And then you've also got all kinds of other internet marketing, social media marketing, etc. So you can balance it. And here's the analogy that I use, because I know we're short on time.
Yeah.
What we do, we will build you a house. We can build you a modest house, or we can build you a mansion. And then we will landscape that property, and we'll manage the whole property. In fact, we'll clean the windows, we'll change the can liners, we'll come in and redesign it every year or two. But if you want people there for Thanksgiving dinner, that is not what we do. But we work with partners who can go into a specific company and they can market in that niche. And I don't know of any company that does it all well. And I'll be honest with you, we were trying to do it all well 5 or 6 years ago, and we were failing. So we had to focus on what we're good at and then bring in the right partners. And we've got partners for every size company. But the marketing of a website is not just getting to the top page of Google anymore. It simply isn't. There's too many options. This is not 2007.
Yeah.
There's just too much to do. So I'm sorry I'm being long-winded. I told you I
No,
won't.
you're good. So what I heard you say is traditional SEO, not really a thing anymore. Maybe not dead, but definitely not the way to do it. Focus on quality content. Make sure that your website is mobile friendly, that you're updating it and reviewing it regularly. Build that around a Google business profile that you're active on, that's up to date, buckets of 10 for reviews, photos, and then drive all that traffic back to a really good website as well as those posts. Drive it back to content on your website. And if you want to be at the top, you got to pay for it sometimes.
Just pay to play.
Pay to
And
play.
the thing about the AdWords is you can run that, you can pause it. I mean, it could be a huge investment. It's based on click, it's based on like supply and demand, and that,
how popular your term is.
Yeah, yeah. And so the problem is, we were looking at $17 a click on some of our terms. And that's a heavy lift for some. It was a heavy lift for us, to be honest with you. It's like, man, especially if we're getting nothing out of it. But, it just, that's one way to market. There's Facebook ads, there's LinkedIn ads, there's Instagram advertising, there's remarketing, there's traditional stuff. People overlook traditional. Traditional marketing still works, or else all these billboards would be torn down. They're building more of them.
Yeah.
Because the electronic marketing is getting oversaturated. So just getting to the top of Google, yeah, it's great if you're there. You're going to get some clicks, but it's not the only thing anymore. And a lot of people make that mistake and think it is.
Excellent. So Dave, what's your best business tip as we wrap this up?
Can I get 2?
Go for it.
Okay, so a few years ago, before he passed away, I got the pleasure to see Richard Farmer, who started Cintas. Technically, his dad started it, but he really blew it up. And somebody, it wasn't me, I wish I would have asked this question. He said, what is the best piece of advice you could give to a small business owner? He said, hire character, train skill. And I listened to that. And I'm going to tell you, you've met some of our folks.
I have.
They're warriors. They're warriors. I need warriors and I need champions. I don't need MBAs. So that is the best single piece of advice that changed the course of our business forever. The second one I came up with, which is less impactful, we created an internal tagline in our company last year called Everybody Wins. And that is, my clients win first, my team wins second, and ownership wins third if there's anything left over. And that has changed the trajectory of our business. And it's been awesome. So those are the 2 things.
Those are
Richard
great pieces.
Better.
Those are great. Dave, thank you so much for your time today. Dave Ebbesmeyer with AI Software. Where can people find you online?
Just type my last name in. I'm an easy guy to find, unfortunately. Just only read the good stuff. But yeah, aisoftwareinc.com. If you type in AI software, you're going to get a bunch of artificial intelligence. But we're all over social media. We're easy to find.
Awesome. Well, Dave, thank you so much, and really impactful information today. So thank you for joining us.
And thank you for your business and trust, brother. We love it. We love working with you.
We enjoy partnering with you for sure.
Heck yeah. All right. Well, have a good afternoon, bro.
Thanks, Dave.
Yep.